sana. Coba dengarkan beberapa pertanyaan lagi seperti tadi.
What's the quickest way to get there? What's the easiest way to get there?
Sekarang, coba saudara ucapkan sesudah Chris.
What's the quickest way to get there? What's the easiest way to get there? What's the best way to get there?
Baiklah. Saudara pendengar, sekarang mari kita pelajari beberapa kata lain yang seringkali digunakan kalau kita berbicara tentang letak suatu tempat. Coba dengarkan.
Renmark is somewhere in South Australia.
Kota itu terletak di negara bagian South Australia, tetapi Chris tidak tahu di mana tepatnya.
It's somewhere near the Victorian border.
Kota itu terletak di dekat perbatasan dengan negara bagian Victoria. Dia tidak tahu dengan tepat berapa jaraknya dari perbatasan itu. Coba dengarkan beberapa contoh lagi.
The Royal Hotel's somewhere in Sydney. It's somewhere near the park. Iwan's family lives somewhere near Jakarta.
Chris's family lives somewhere in Sydney.
Kita tidak tahu dengan tepat, dan hal itu tidak menjadi soal. Sekarang, coba saudara ulangi beberapa kalimat sesudah Chris.
She lives somewhere in South Australia. It's somewhere near the Victorian border. The hotel's somewhere in Sydney. It's somewhere near the park. Iwan's family lives somewhere near Jakarta.
Baiklah, saudara-saudara. Saudara pendengar, Meg, Chris, dan Iwan telah menemukan di mana Hotel Royal. Dan saat ini mereka sudah berada di dalam hotel tersebut. Dan Meg tidak terlambat. Siapakah yang akan ditemuinya?
Well, Meg's gone into the manager's office. Let's go.
But she asked us to wait.
Iwan and Chris, come and meet my fiancé, Stephen. Stephen, I'd like you to meet Chris and Iwan.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Iwan. Pleased to meet you.
They've been very kind to me, Steve. If I hadn't met Chris and Iwan, I'd have been late.
Well, I appreciate your help, Chris and Iwan.
That's okay, Steve.
Meg says you're Indonesian. Whereabouts in Indonesia do you come from, Iwan?
A place near Jakarta, Steve. About 40 kilometers from Jakarta.
Oh, yes. Meg and I want to go there one day.
To Indonesia? Whereabouts in Indonesia?
Oh, I don't know. Java, Sumatra, Bali. I've got a friend who works somewhere in Sumatra.
Oh, yes?
And I've got some Indonesian friends in Sulawesi, too. Somewhere near Ujung Pandang. They always write me letters in English for practice.
Yes, a lot of Indonesians like to practice their English like that.
Now, what about some lunch? It's just about lunchtime, isn't it?
Lunch?
Yes. Oh, didn't Meg tell you? I'm the assistant manager in this hotel. I'd like you to be my guest for lunch.
Well, that's very kind of you, Steve.
Not at all. Now, the dining room is next to the bar. If you go straight down the hall and take the second door on the left, you'll see it. The waiter will show you to a table. I'll join you in a few minutes. So, you've been to Indonesia recently, Chris?
Yes, during the last vacation.
What's the best way to see Indonesia, do you think?
Well, if you fly to Jakarta, you can go by bus to anywhere in Indonesia.
And you can go by train through Java. A lot of people like to travel by local bus or taxi or dokka for short trips. There are many different ways to travel.
What's the best way to get from Bali to Java?
Well, of course, the quickest way is by plane, but you can also...
Well, that was a nice surprise, Iwan.
Yes, they were a very nice couple. Now, where are we? What's the best way to the museum from here, Chris?
Iwan, don't you know? Well, why don't you ask a pretty girl for some directions?
Saudara pendengar, sekarang sudah saatnya kami minta diri. Tetapi jangan lupa membaca bagian yang berjudul After the Broadcast dari pelajaran tadi. Dan jangan pula lupa membaca bagian yang berjudul Before the Broadcast dari pelajaran nomor 83. Dan sekarang, goodbye listeners.